The dungeons were deep below the castle. In such despair, Gilda wondered when they had last been used. Despite what Captain Ripper claimed, the cells were comparatively few, and the poor shape testament to lack of use. The captured unicorns were packed in so tight that some of them in the smaller cells couldn't sit or lay down. Dungeons weren't supposed to be nice, but these were just grungy. They were neglected. Gilda was no expert, but the magic in and around them felt odd. Even someone like her could feel it in the moment she walked through the door. The way the unicorn mare stiffened and shook her head, as if her horn hurt, also said a lot about how powerful the magic had to be. Gilda was glad to get out of there and hurried back up to the winding staircase to the surface. The staircase emptied out to a corridor in the lower echelons of the castle, far away from the throne room, and the castle was so huge that there were large portions that obviously weren't used very much, and was one of them. It was still spotlessly clean, but the decor was in serious need of an overhaul. Gilda wondered what she was supposed to do next. She followed the next three subordinates that she had come down with, until they whispered to each other and flapped their wings, fly ahead of her, and glancing back to make sure she wasn't keeping up. Gilda wouldn't give them a satisfaction of chasing them, so instead she picked up a random turnoff and headed down to a different corridor, like she had planned to go that way all along. "Bunch of half-brained idiots," she muttered as she stalked along. "I don't need them. I don't need anyone." For what she did, however, was a map. "Pony feathers," she cursed. Moments later she realized that she had a pony expression and blushed. "Old habits sure did die hard. Where am I?" She trundled along until she reached a corridor lined with the old suits of armor on either side. The suits weren't the uniform design, but the charred history of Equestria's royal guards in shape and form. Some of them have plumed helmets, and some had wickedly spiny helmets, and some had no helmets at all. Gilda stopped in front of one of them with wings holes cut into the sides and barbed shoes that stretched up past the fetlocks, with the articulated parts too below the loud knee bending. A Pegasus in armor like that could sure do a lot of mid-air damage. She wondered why modern guards wouldn't wear it. Maybe if they had, they wouldn't have stood a better chance against King Claw. Maybe if Rainbow Dash had. She broke off the thought, like snapping off a key in a lockbox she didn't want to open. She wasn't ready to go there yet. Turning away from the armor, she caught a slight movement behind the suit on the opposite side, frowning as she crouched it to stalk it cat-like. Her pupils already dilated, the poor light open wider to catch any hint of further movement. It might have been a trick of the light, or an illusion from her own exhausted mind, but she didn't think so. All her predator instincts were yelling at her. Slowly and carefully she inched forward, then she sprang, darting between two huge suits and landing in the dusty alcove beyond. A raspy cry, and the feel of something alive under her claws, told her she had to be right. She wasn't alone. "All right, Chuckles," she growled. "Game's over." "Gilda?" She looked down at the small purple dragon who she had pinned. "Do I know you?" The dragon stared up at her with wide eyes. It was a punny creature with head spines all around and soft. It was nothing at all like fearsome creatures every pony told stories about. She was no dragon expert, but she recognized one when she saw one. Even pony specimen like this. She dug her claws in, realizing bitterly that she would have jammed one claw over its face to prevent it from breathing fire at her. With a dexterous twist, she flipped onto its belly and pressed it on the back of its neck, keeping its face on the floor where it couldn't barbecue her. "Wait!" it cried in a low, muffled voice. "It's me, Spike!" "Who?" "Spike from Ponyville!" When she didn't respond, it added, "Rainbow Dash's friend!" Recognition pummeled her. She remembered seeing a small dragon like that at a party Pinkie Pie threw on her last day in Ponyville. She hadn't spoken to it but remembered thinking. In between suspicions about Pinkie Pie and the pranks, and it was all weird to see one mix among so many ponies, those thoughts had shut down in the ladder of importance when she walked out. However, she hadn't given any thought of it all since then. Escaping Winterfrost and his goons had taken up a lot of her attention until she made the decision to cross the border out of Equestria into Graphonia. She didn't let it up to hold her on the dragon's neck. And? Huh? So what? You expect me to hug you or something? The dragon seemed lost for words. Then it sagged. You're on their side, aren't you? Aw, nuts. This day just keeps getting worse and worse and, Gilda leaned a weight forward, cutting him off. Why are you sneaking around back here? Are you planning to use some of this armor against King Claw? A spear, maybe. Or maybe one of those hail birds? Just because I can tell you right now that'd be a bad idea. Those shields won't save you if you try to fight him. What? No, I mean... no, I wasn't. Look, I was just trying to hide, okay? I saw griffins everywhere, and I thought I'd just better hide until I could find my friends and figure out what happened. I'll tell you what happened. We won and you lost. Yeah, I got that. So you sniveled your way into the shadows. I guess I should have expected something cowardly from the likes of you. Hey, I'm no coward. The dragon tried to twist to look at her, but she kept her mouth firmly on the floor. I'm not an idiot either. You may have noticed I'm outnumbered against you griffins. You griffins? Gilda ignored how she was lumped with the rest of the Claw army. That was what she had accepted when she joined up, hadn't she? She also known the score. No points laminating now. Being outnumbered doesn't mean much to you equestrians. You seem to be pretty hot on being heroes, right? Impossible odds. She allowed smugness to creep into her tone. Too bad it didn't work out this time. Those Canterlot ponies didn't even have much fight in them anyway. But even that vanished when the Claw army thrashed those. They were all called again. Oh, right, the elements of harmony. The dragon bucked against her. The tips of her claws dug into the back of its neck, but it didn't seem to notice. Gilda wondered whether the scales were too thick there, or if they were just too mad to feel the pricking. What have you done with my friends? You're such a good pals, but you weren't with them when they needed you. No, I was coming back from... Does that matter? What did you do to them? The same as we did to the rest in Canterlot. Gilda kept her voice steady, pointedly not thinking about spinning on the multicolored mane as she held on to the kicking body of a death dive. Beat them. Where are they? The little dragon was getting quite frantic. Where are they? What did you do to the princesses? What did you monsters do to Twilight, Applejack, and Rarity? Gilda had held her the spill about King Claw and the princesses. She arched her back, firming her shoulders against the dragon's struggles. King Claw defeated Celestia, Luna, and every pony with them. Defeated? You work it out, dingbat. Did you really think he'd leave them alive after seeing siege to the castle? No, the dragon struggled with renewed strength. No. Yes, Gilda replied coldly, fighting to keep still. King Claw killed him. That's why the battle ended. He won. Deal with it. The dragon gave a cry of pain and rage. Then abruptly all fight seemed to go out of it. Gilda held on tight to the judders for a few seconds later, reverberating through the shoulders into the base of her wings. She blinked. She hadn't known dragons could cry. No! Then came the broken whisper. Twilight, Rarity, Applejack. The names were familiar. To be honest, Gilda hadn't bothered them to learn their names of Dash's other friends. Well, apart that from damn Pinkie Pie, the dragon hadn't mentioned the pink pony, making Gilda wonder wherever she survived the battle. It would be just her luck if the pony she liked least was going to still be kicking around this place somewhere. The dragon's obvious grief struck a chord in her that she couldn't afford to feel it, so she coldly said, All dead. I hope you said goodbye, because King Claw isn't known for holding elaborate funerals for his enemies. Yes, that was it. She had to shut out any emotions except for long-held resentment. of getting back in touch with what it was putting on her old vest, comforting and familiar, even if it was a full holes. Although maybe you'll see what's left of them hanging from the battlements, you could say goodbye to them, I suppose. Or maybe, she grunted at a sudden spasm of strength that nearly bucked her out of the alcove and into a suit of armor. "You monster!" the dragon yelled, heedless of whatever he would be heard by someone else. "How could you be so cruel? They were my friends!" "Big deal. Friendship is overrated." "Does that mean you turned on Rainbow Dash too?" "Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't." Gilda's lack of answer was apparently answered enough. "Oh my gosh, you did!" She grounded the edge of her beak together. "Like I said, friendship is overrated. I can't believe Rainbow Dash has defended you when the other ponies said you were a bad seed. She stood up for you and you turn on her like this? Why? Why would you do something so evil?" "Evil? Her?" Gilda scowled even though the dragon couldn't see. She always have snapped the neck at the beginning, not engaging in conversation. King Claw was right. Griffins all the way, not ponies, nor dragons, nor whatever the creatures had chosen Equestria as their home. "Besides, this is who I am," she sneered. "Didn't you get the memo?" "So every pony else was right and Rainbow Dash was wrong. What a way to find out. You're a real piece of work, Gilda." "Hey, I'm not the one who killed your friends, pony lover. You may as well have their..." The dragon swallowed, choking on the little word. "Their deaths are still on your head, and you have already admitted to hurt Rainbow Dash, your own friend. And this, you know, you should have pony blood on your claws. You should have been ashamed of yourself for ever letting someone as good as Rainbow Dash call you a friend when you obviously weren't worth it. Don't let it get to you. Don't think about Dash. Don't react. It's just there's some stinking little dragon. Don't think about her. Don't think about what you did or what Captain Ripper will do if he ever finds out you didn't finish." Too late. Gilda flicked the dragon onto its back, fisted one of its claws around its snout to keep it shut, and hoisting it up on its back with her other claw. She pushed on her beak onto its face, anger clouding her rationally. "Listen, you overgrown gecko. I never asked for Dash to defend me. I never wanted her pity. If she ever chooses to big me up to you nerds, then that's when her lookout, not mine. I'm not going to be held responsible for something that she did, and I'm not going to feel bad about the things she ultimately went down. I gave her a chance out there, more than one, and she chooses you freaks over me. Like last time, don't you dare make out what she makes best bud. If she had been, she would never have let me go twice." The dragon stared at her, eyes still wide, but burning enough fury and anguish to make them maintain its grip on its snout. Gilda reared back. "Why am I even talking to you? You're not worth my time." She flapped her wings and hop-skipped between the suits of armor and down the corridor, not even sure where she was going, but damn sure she didn't want to look into the dragon's sensor's eyes anymore. She glanced back at it only once, and thereafter kept her face firmly averted so she wouldn't see its tears. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.